Here we go. We live?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lionel Chitty, the Executive Director for the Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs. Thank you very much for joining us for the first kickoff for our Workforce Development Series. Tonight, we have some honored guests here from our community. I'm going to introduce them shortly, but again, this is the first of an ongoing series, 4 parts. Today, entrepreneurship, the 4 C's of entrepreneurship. The C's contain capital, connection, culture, and climate. Next Thursday, the 14th, tools for finding employment, skill resume digital platform. Thursday, January 21st, education to assist with career paths, interviewing, training, assessment. And January 28th, mentorship, making connections for careers, counseling, planning, and follow-ups. The reason we put this together is we want to be able to give people the opportunity to live that American dream. Maybe things have changed in your life. You want to start taking a look at entrepreneurship, starting your business. And we want to make sure that we're here and available for you to utilize us as a resource to have these conversations so that you can be successful and get the information, the resources you need. Right now, I'll introduce my panel. Malcolm Sims, if you don't mind introducing yourself, he's from TD Bank.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Malcom Sims. I'm the Assistant Store Manager at the TD Bank in Westbury on Brush Hollow Road. I'm also the 3rd Vice President of the Westbury Carle Place Chamber of Commerce. Tonight I'll be speaking to you guys about capital.
Beautiful, thank you, thank you. Also, we have Dr. Steve Lindo.
Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Steve Lindo. I'm the co-founder and president of Springboard Incubators, which is a 501c3 organization located here in Hempstead. And I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. I also have 31 years of experience working in the industry. And our programs, I'll be talking to you about some of the entrepreneurship programs that we do here at Springboard as well.
Beautiful, thank you, thank you. And also we have Phil Andrews, President of the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce. How are you, Phil?
Great. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Phil Andrews, as he said, and I'm the president of the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, New York State's largest African American Chamber of Commerce, and the 2019 Small Business Champion for the federal government, New York District Office of the SBA for 14 counties. And I just love helping businesses.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you. And also not on the screen, but behind the scenes making things happen, we have our program coordinator, Dexter Hedgepeth. We thank you again for helping us put this together and keeping us on track. But listen, we'll jump right into it. Again, this is entrepreneurship, the 4 C's. Our first C is capital. I'll start off with Malcolm and then we'll open up to a little bit of discussion. Malcolm, what are you seeing when somebody is either has a business or is looking to start a business? What can you educate them on about regarding their finances and being able to access capital?
I've been in banking for about 5 years, and one of the joys of it is of being able to deal with small businesses on a daily basis. I come across tons of small business owners every day, and I get joy out of educating them on the opportunities of accessing capital through a bank. Many have, their own theories of what getting lending from a bank is like, but I try to educate them and maybe shift their thinking and get them to understand that, you can use a bank as a partner to grow your business through business lending. Most people see getting loans as another bill or not wanting to pay high interest rates to banks, but there are other avenues of getting business lending from a bank that many aren't aware of. So one of the products that I actually take pride in, and I think it's actually paid dividends to a lot of businesses this year, is our business line of credit. And instead of, you worrying about having a loan or anything like that, a line of credit can be there for a business to pretty much help cover seasonal gaps, help them with accounts receivable, cover payroll, support their growth. And a line of credit is something that if you're not using it, you're not paying for it. But if you do have a bad month, you have the opportunity to access that line of credit and go in and cover that month's expenses or cover that week's payroll. So that's something that they can look at as us being a partner to them, as opposed to them having to pay TD Bank or any other bank, a monthly bill. TD Bank is actually one of the very few banks that lend to startup businesses, new businesses. If you incorporate a business today, tomorrow you can come in my bank and get a line of credit up to $25,000 as a startup business. So that's something I would, want to get out there to the community, those that may be looking to get into entrepreneurship and don't have the capital or looking for the capital to, get some funding for their business. That's an avenue and opportunity for them right there. We're also a full service bank. If you need help with merchant services or payroll, we have all that there for you. So, we try to be a community partner to our small businesses.
Beautiful, beautiful. I actually was not aware that, again, just starting a business, getting incorporated, again, it's usually your personal credit, but that's good news to hear. I'll make sure I'm going to tell everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Steve, you run a nonprofit and you've also been in the business world itself. What advice do you have when it comes to that almighty capital, being able to make sure that you're fluid, making sure you can meet your obligations? What advice do you have?
Yeah, so one of the key things that we go through with our program. So what we do is that we have a level up entrepreneurship program that we teach here at Springboard, and part of it is really how to access capital, but how to maintain cash flow. And I think for any business, cash flow is the key, right, to keep it sustainable and going. But for capital and for starting that up, what we find from a lot of businesses is seeking out banks and lending institutions, just like what Malcom referenced. But also, I think the SBA is a great source. SBA has been a great supporter for us. They have come in and provided presentations to our clientele as well. And that's from the young folks as well as we also support AARP with these level of entrepreneurial classes. So I think that, organizations like SBA and the government in general, I think they're a great source for startups, especially in diverse communities like here in Hempstead.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Phil, I've known you for quite some time. You've been around the block. What information do you have for that budding entrepreneur that's going out there, got a great business idea and needs that funding?
Well, one of the things is I say learn how to access capital before you need it. A lot of times when you need it, it's too late.
Yep.
One of the things that you need to do is you need to get friendly with some bankers. Go to some banking seminars, go to some conferences. The more you're around the language of borrowing money, the more you're going to understand it. Recently, I was on a panel with senators, and somebody said that you didn't need no collateral or something. I said, you're going to need something to show how you're going to pay for that loan. So we get a lot of misinformation out there. So one of the things is access to capital. One of the good ways to do it is try to shorten your cash cycles, try to drive expense down and profit up. The fundamentals of business are always the same. And when I was in business, I had 10 stores. I would always say, how can I get more customers to pay for what I need? And I think that's the fundamental of a loan too, is that you have to have a way to pay that access to capital back.
Well, you took some words right out of my mouth. One of the other things we're going to talk about is being able to make those connections. And I was having a discussion with a small business last week. I said, do you know your banker? Well, I use so-and-so bank. I said, no, do you know that bank manager, that store manager when you talk to TD Bank? You have to have a relationship. And I always tell people, have more than one financial institution. I've learned that financial institutions have different verticals that they specialize in. Again, talking to Malcom, a line of credit for somebody that's actually starting up, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. They want somebody that usually they want you to have a long history. They want you to make sure you have your DUNS number, all this other good stuff, and to show that business history. But again, just having this conversation right now with you, and I've been around for a while, that's an important thing to know. Being able to understand that the best time to borrow money is when you don't need it. And Phil, you said it exactly. When you do need it, it's probably a crunch, and then it hits your credit, whatever the case may be. Take a look at what the options are for you. One of the things we put together in the office was a resource guide for small businesses, especially during COVID. You've got your SBA as far as their lending programs go. You've got the SBDC as far as some of that technical assistance to make sure that you can apply for loans properly. You've got community development financial institutions, one of which is Lafayette, is a community development corporation. They are a CDFI, and they do some micro loans up to $25,000. You've got the Long Island Development Corporation, LIDC, our good friend Gina Slater Parker, the CEO over there. They do phenomenal lending programs over there, but she has specific verticals. You've also got the Minority Development Business Agency organization there in the city. If they can't do it, they can connect you to an entire network of CDFIs across the entire country. And we've also got a small lending program here with Nassau County, Boost Nassau, which is tied into the New York Loan Forward program. One of the other things I also want to recommend is, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, one of the toughest things I did, because I was a one-man shop, is making sure that you have all your documents in order. Make sure you get that professional that's an accountant. Make sure you have an attorney that you can speak to, whether you can afford to keep them on retainer or not. But make sure you get that right professional that can guide you, because the worst thing you want to do is make a mistake. I remember I was started up, got a big contract, and my accountant called me and said, "Yeah, I saw that you got this contract. How are you paying yourself?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just taking money out of here." He goes, "No, no, 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 no. Take the time, invest in the payroll system. Trust me, it'll be worth it." And I did some shopping around. And I found something that suited my needs. And it was a little annoying, but at the end of the year, when I needed to get all my documents together, I just logged in and hit print, and there it is, gave it over to my accountant. It saved me a world of headache. Make sure you have that relationship with your accountant where you can access your tax documents. Make sure you have access to your EIN number, and also focus on your business credit. I'll go back to you, Malcolm. How important is it to make sure that you're not only taking care of your own personal credit, but also your business credit?
That's very important. You want to make sure that you have your Dun and Bradstreet in order, because that is what's going to help you as you continue to grow as a business. You know, when you're a startup business, you know, oftentimes it'll just start out with your personal credit. But as you continue to grow, they want to see that the business is actually maintaining their finances in order. And they want to make sure that, you know, the business has been paying their bills on time. They don't have any charged off accounts, any derogatories. And that's how you'll be able to access larger capital. So, you know, when you start off small, they'll lend out to your personal credit. You could be a personal guarantor, but as you continue to grow as a business, it's very vital that you keep your Dun and Bradstreet in order and make sure that your business credit is where it needs to be. It's just as important as having good personal credit.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And Steve, I'm going to ask you this one, and I get this one all the time. What's the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit business?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. You know, a lot of folks, a lot of times there's different types of nonprofits out there, and they kind of get confused. But there are two types, basically. One where a nonprofit acts as a foundation, but then you also have a nonprofit who acts as a public charity, right? So a foundation pretty much, a foundation really is just doing fundraising and then distribute it, accordingly. And then you have nonprofits that are service-based, right? Which is mostly what you see here in the village as well. And that's what Springboard is. We're service-based nonprofit, yeah. And then, but I think it's key though, right? That even though you're a nonprofit like we are, you want to make sure that you're exercising very clear fiscal responsibility, right? And you do run it like a business. You want to be able to show that you're profitable. You want to be able to show that you have cash flow. You want to be able to show that the service that you're providing is still considered a product that you want to continue to extend and expand. Yeah, so it's a great question.
Beautiful. I always tell people that the biggest difference is it's the tax status. You still got to function. You still need to have that income coming in, and you still got to keep all your documents in order and be able to make sure that you're meeting your mission.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mr. Andrews, we go back and forth a lot. What are some of the biggest questions you get being the president of the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce when it comes to capital?
Well, one of the things is, where do I start? I never borrowed before, and one of the things that I think we have to go backwards a little bit. One of the things I ask the business people all the time: have you ever took a business course? Do you know the language of business? Because a lot of people do something well, but they never know how to put that statement on that cash flow statement, their position every month. So I encourage every business to have diverse skills. Take an EAP course, an 8-week mini MBA course. Take as many small business development workshops, because really your business can only grow beyond your comprehension. So as we grow as human beings and we learn more, then our business consequently grows. So one of the things I say is that also too, hey, sometimes you gotta have, they say, don't quit your 9 to 5. The business is the +5 for a lot of times, so because we need to fund the business.
Right.
But in the early stages is the hardest part of any business, as you know. Getting the business off the ground takes a tremendous amount of capital. So I think early plan your business well before you open the door.
Absolutely. One of the things I took advantage of way back when I started one of my first companies, I took a entrepreneurial assistance program at Suffolk County Community College. And they walk you through the goal is at the end of it, you have a full business plan. They go through everything from formation of the business, your corporation, your marketing, your investment, the legal aspects, all of that, because it was a great refresher for me. And at the end, you came up with a solid business plan. You've also got the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center at the Hofstra University and the Ascend program that's there to help educate businesses. Because again, you might be good at a craft and you want to jump into a business, that doesn't necessarily know how to run that business. But again, if you're able to do it successfully, reach out to us for those resources, reach out to any of us, as a matter of fact, and we'll be able to guide you and give you that information. But I always tell people, take your time, make sure you do it right. Do not take any shortcuts. It's only going to hurt you in the end. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to move on to our second C, connection. Phil, I got to start off with you. What do you know about connections?
Well, one of the things, all the Harvard studies say that those people that have deep networks, succeed. We all have a certain level of skills, but I believe personally that our own calling could only take us so far. So what we need to do is like they said, if you're the smartest one in your network, you need to get a new network. We need to find people that can expand us. As Mike Ferrazzi said, never eat alone. Get around people that can help you be more than what you are by yourself. So I think that's part of the networking part, is that connections give you information, they give you resource. Like today, you're talking about resources, you're talking about how to access capital. This conversation alone could change the trajectory of any business. That's how important. This is a connection right here with this particular event that the Office of Minority Affairs is having right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Malcolm, I got to come back to you, Mr. Got involved in the Chamber of Commerce. What does connections mean for you in business and entrepreneurship?
I think like Mr. Andrews was saying, a lot of, there's a quote that always goes around, your network is your net worth. And I think that the connections that you have pay dividends into your professional development and your business growth. Just a small tidbit, I've been at the bank for 4 years, started on the ground, and now I'm a manager in a short time. And I feel like that's because of the connections that I made along the way. It's funny, I was introduced to Mr. Chitty by a mentor. That was one connection. That connection led me to be introduced to, it's funny, Mr. Andrews probably doesn't know, he introduced me to Mr. Andrews at a networking event. Mr. Andrews introduced me to other people at that event. And those people that I've been introduced to helped me move up in my career by giving me information, by giving me resources. So I think connections important, and if you don't utilize your connections as a business owner, it'll limit your growth. So, connections and your network is very important. Me being on the chamber now, that's our mission. It's to, be able to support and develop small businesses within our community so that we could, so they can grow, they can get the resources that they need to be supported in their communities, to get more visibility amongst the community and such other things. So, that's my small bit on connections.
And Steve, listen, we've bumped into each other, crossed paths, know somebody that knows somebody. Talk to me about those connections.
I'm telling you, Phil said something that struck me, as far as, starting a business. I started my first business when I was 26 right here in Hempstead. I thought I was going to be better than Michael Dell, right? So I was, people call it a side hustle now, but I was grinding away. But the very first thing I learned from doing computers and networking it here for offices is that relationships are the key, completely. So, one of the things that we teach, what do we explain is that with these relationships, you have to be a farmer, right? You have to nurture it, you have to care it. So I always recommend to businesses to have an advisory board, right? And they should be your Dutch uncle, right? They should tell it to you straight, no tracer. They just give it to you straight. The second thing, which is separate, is that you want to have what I call, your reference circle, right? These are the people that you sit down and break bread with and talk to about business, right? And have that kind of relationship. And then finally, I always encourage folks, listen, you're never too old to have a mentor, right? Even to this day, I have a mentor, right? And people reach out to me to mentor them as well, folks. So you can never, go wrong with a mentor. What I would say though is that relationship with your networks, treat it like it's like I said, farming it, right? It's important. I sit down with my cup of coffee every morning and I go through my relationships, and I have different grading systems depending on who they are. So I go from no, like, trust, right? And I want to get to that point where they don't just know me, but they like me and they trust me
Right.
based on my business, right? And when they trust you, that's the point they're going to recommend your business. That's the point they're going to bring you in. That's the point that they're actually going to do business with you. So farm it, like take care of treat it like it's a key asset.
I love that mentoring portion. Um, I have three mentors. I think all of you know one of them. I'm not going to mention his name. And we're talking guys that have been through it, been around. They're still out there. They still love the grind, and they know people. And
Yeah.
you said it, Steve. It's I always tell people this: three most important things in business: relationship, relationship, relationship. You don't
Mm.
have them, go find them. When
Yep.
you find them, nurture them, cultivate them, and keep them. I
Right.
tell people, listen, we live on an island. We're going to go round and round in the circles. Phil, I could go anywhere and bump into you. And it's always great when you walk into a spot and you see somebody you know. I lived all the way out east, and for 8 years, every Wednesday morning, I had to be in Westbury at 7 o'clock in the morning for my Business Network International meeting. It was brutal. It was hard, but I did it for 8 years. And I listened to these guys give their elevator pitch, their 30 seconds every week. People call me, hey, I got no car accident. Who I call? Oh, wait a second. And you learn things from these people. And you don't just have to use them, you use the other people, because I learned people buy from people they like. It's not always about price. Phil, I know you're itching
Like,
to jump in there. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, I'm itching to get in there because y'all done got me on fire. Y'all on my topic. And I said, you know what? 90% of your success is showing up. And then also sometimes we need to meet new people. And
Yep.
sometimes we swim in the same pond too much. And we need to get outreach to other networks and to new areas of networking because we are creatures of habit. We get to go to the same event, but we also are a victim of our own laziness sometimes. That meeting that we should go to would have been the meeting that we would have met that contact that made a difference. So I think you have to show up more, and I think we have to be proactive. And also, if you know somebody's be there, if you know who's going to be there, you should do your research before you get there.
Absolutely.
Learn something about the person, learn who's going to be there. And that may be your target for the question that you need to get access to your business.
It was funny when I started my sales career. It was in outdoor sales and knocking on doors. My young mentor, Frank Edwards, God rest us in peace. Um, I was shy. I was very quiet. So he took me to the Omni building in Uniondale, and he goes, for the next 3 days, you're going to go in the basement, you're going to get on the elevator, and you're going to press every button on that elevator. It's 10 floors. And he goes, your job, by the time the elevator gets to the top floor, you're going to start a conversation with someone. I'm like, what? He goes, you're doing it. Goodbye. And for 3 days, it was hard. What do I say? Somebody just walked in, they're looking at me funny, until it finally clicked. Until this day, my wife hates getting in the elevator because I'm going to talk to someone. Because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to meet. Malcom, I couldn't even remember where I met you, but I do remember when I met you. You said TD Bank, and I was like, CMR Letter? He goes, absolutely. And we just took it from there. How's networking been working for you, Malcom?
I think it's been great. I've been introduced to different networking groups, like you said. And one thing that I was told in that networking group is that the way to success is managing relationship and expectation. And I've always stuck with that ever since. And I try to nurture all my relationships so that they could be fruitful. And I can, you know, a relationship is not just what you can get, but what you can give as well.
Absolutely.
So I try to give my resources and my knowledge, and they give me their resources and their knowledge, and it allows us to both grow. And if two people are growing and they're happy, I think that is going to be an amazing relationship, and we're going to continue to give each other resources. And it's, you know, that's what's really helped fuel my career is the relationships that I've built. You know, like I feel like I've been driven by some of the events I went to, and I've seen Mr. Chitty in the room, and he's going from person to person. It, you know, drives me to meet more people because I see him going. It makes me want to go.
I learned that from Phil, by the way.
See, so we're all learning from each other. That's the relationship part.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what relationships do for you, and it helps you grow personally. And like Phil said, you want to continue to meet new people because it'll challenge you as a person. The more people you meet, the different walks of life they come from, and you get to learn more. And the more you know, it increases your capacity to grow. So, you know.
You just never know. I had a business meeting. I knew one person there, and it was this group of like 8 people. And I was just like, I'm going to meet strange people. And I walk in, and as I'm walking toward the table, I look at some other guy that's staring at me. And I'm looking at him, I tilt my head like my dog does. He goes, Lionel, what are you doing here? I'm like, what are you doing here? Knowing the guy. We've always networked. I tell people, you don't understand networking, join your local chamber of commerce. Go out there. It's for networking. Join your Rotary Club. It was put together for networking. Get involved in your community. Meet the people. Know the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Once you know them, surround yourself by other people who you don't know, who are doing different industries. I've met so many people, sometimes I forget who I meet, so that's why I need to talk to them. What are you looking for? Wait a second. And I'll call somebody right then and there. Hey, listen, so-and-so, Phil, I got this guy in front of me. He's interested in the African American Chamber of Commerce. You think he can help? Phil, you going to take that call?
Well, I'm going to take the call.
He's going to take the call. And I'm going to tell him, hey, listen, this is my personal relationship. I'm passing it over to you. Make sure you nurture it. Make sure you do the right thing. As I always tell people, I'll find out. I'll find out because I'll get that call. But again, we need to help
and give us gain. I think that's one of the most fundamental. It's not always what I got here. It's also what I became here. You know, it's a lot of people that help us become more than what we are through networking. So we got to give. And I think it's kind of rude to ask somebody for something that you just met them anyway.
Hey, listen, I always try to give because it always comes back. And I tell people networking is a skill. It needs to be learned. One of my favorite books is The Little Red Book of Sales by Jeffrey Gitler. It's a process. And he goes, when you're done reading this book, read it again. Simon Sinek, what is it? To ask you why we're here, why we're doing this, to make you think. And it also gives you nice conversation pieces out there when you go and meet somebody new. Again, people like doing business with people they need, so you need to expand that network, meet new people, and grow. You'd be amazed at the fantastic things that can come from it. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll move into our next one, and I'm going to start off with you, Phil. With the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, I know a lot of people start calling you or talking to you about entrepreneurship. With COVID, the current environment that we're in, what is that overall environment for, or that culture for entrepreneurship? Can you explain that to us?
Well, one of the things I say to the business owners is, keep in contact with your customers. Send them updates. Let them know maybe next week is different than last week. Let them know what your business is up to. Let them know if you have something that could be ordered digitally. Because, a lot of people were going into the physical stores, but now they are buying digitally. But maybe if you contacted your customers and you gave them that offer, a lot of businesses actually increased their sales during this marketplace. I think digital, and then they also learned too, you know what? I could talk to more people that could probably walk into the store. So a lot of companies have expanded sales. I think we need to look on the individual, on the digital aspect of business to grow the business. But one day we'll be back to the one-on-one. But this is a great idea. Marketing prices. I don't know if you know, marketing used to be very expensive. I had 10 stores and I spent thousands of dollars direct mail to homes and stuff like that. We can talk to more people and meet people around the country and around the world today, only with a little effort.
Absolutely. How about you, Steve? You see anything, any new opportunities? What's it like out there for entrepreneurs that are looking to start? What have you been seeing?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that it does, it exposed such a need for businesses to think about their digital transformation and what that means to them, right? As they go after these new channels. Not just that, it forces them to have different conversations with their banking and their financial institution about accepting payment in different ways, right? And I think that those are some of the things that, to the point that you made earlier, unfortunately, COVID-19 and the pandemic exposed the need for it. But I think we should adopt it and continue to make it part of your business practice, right? You use these channels, expand on these channels. It will create new revenue streams for you. When it comes to culture, what I've seen is that, well, the businesses that we're nurturing here anyway, is that they struggled actually to make that digital transformation into that realm, especially um, accepting digital payments. And I think it kind of goes back to, the relationship that you have with your banker. I think that's such a beautiful statement that you made, that you should know your banker by name. When you walk into your bank, that branch manager should know you by name. Just like when you go to your coffee shop, they know you by name. They don't even have to ask me what I want. They know what I want at the diner. When I go up there to go, and yeah, so it should be that type of relationship as well with your banker. And then, the problems when they show up. So replace COVID-19 with anything, right? You need to be prepared for it.
Right.
L-
Absolutely.
Lionel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a point. I had found out something very interesting a couple of months ago. There's more people that use email than that's on Facebook, but we're not getting people to opt into our list. Think about it. Who don't have an email? But we have to get them to sign up to opt in, because the big companies know that. I mean, they have these pages. They don't have nowhere else for you to go but to sign up for what they're doing. And what happens? When you sign up, you give them the permission to continue to talk to you. So I think we need to, as a community, we need to look at the digital access of emails. But of course, you can't put people on the list without permission. But if you can get them to opt into your email list, that could be an avenue of growth for your business.
Absolutely. And I tell people, when you started talking about emails and the digital marketing, we're at the point now, whether you're looking to deal with a new vendor, or you're that new vendor, or you're looking for a job, people are checking your social media posts. They go to LinkedIn. They want to see who you are. And I know we still have some people. I used to be like that. Hey, listen, I don't want all my information out there. It's a little too late for that. It's a lot too late for that.
Oh yeah.
People look for that. They want to have some validity. You might know somebody, but they will go to your page. I take a look, and I just make sure that I update it, make sure that it's clean and it's professional. And I actually look for people to connect to make sure that we can stay in touch. It's another outlet for you personally and also for your business. Malcolm, what are you seeing out there as far as the culture of entrepreneurship?
Um, uh, Due to COVID, obviously a lot of things have changed for a lot of businesses. As COVID started, I started seeing a lot of small businesses that were still banking with us changing their business models. They, a lot of restaurants, obviously there was no indoor dining, so they boost their visibility and expanded their radiuses on Uber Eats and DoorDash so they could touch a lot of different people. They increased their marketing on social media so people knew that they were still open, and there were still opportunities for them to, be able to not dine at their restaurants, but order from their restaurants.
Right.
So, I like how you guys keep saying, you got to know your banker. And that's something that we pride ourselves in at TD. We want to know all our customers. We want to know what they got going on, what were the changes in their business, how we could be there to be partners for them and help them in these times. Right now, what's really vital is just for us to just be open to, they could still come make their deposits. We never closed during a pandemic, and that was important. They appreciated that. So that they still had somebody that they were still able to bank human with, because that's something that's important to them, to be able to feel in touch, or if they have an issue, be able to come and speak with somebody at the bank. Our businesses, a lot of them had to pivot, and post-COVID, they're gonna, probably be changed forever and look to hopefully have an aspect of their business that's pandemic proof.
Right.
So, you know, culture of business is definitely changing. I don't think, you know, a lot of business models will be the same anymore, but I think a lot of businesses handled it very well.
Absolutely.
I know I want to touch on something Malcolm
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
is fantastic, right? So, you know, post pandemic or post COVID, right? One of the things that I'm encouraging folks to think about is, and as a community actually, is having a sustainable ecosystem for businesses, right? So that we are, you know, supporting each other in a meaningful way, such that, you know, what I mean, when you look at it, right? One of the things that I just blogged about had to do with the Federal Reserve that put out that report at the end of August, saying that Black businesses are twice as likely to fail. Also citing all of the other challenges around just where COVID hits, and not to mention the employees and so on and so forth, right? But if we were thinking about how to actually create this sustainable ecosystem for our businesses or for businesses in different communities, I think that not only would it work now, we would be better prepared for any other, you know, COVID-19 type situation.
Absolutely. I mean, if you take an overall look, I'll give the sushi place out by me. It's a small, it's like a mini franchise. They're all across the East End. So COVID hit, and I gave them a week. And my wife goes, "Oh, I'm ordering sushi." I said, "Okay, I'll go pick it up." And I'm thinking I got to walk inside. These guys had it set up. They built a little booth outside. They cut a door through. They had the little half thing. You walk in, it's covered. You ring the doorbell. They got a microphone sitting there. Okay, I'm here to pick up order 32. Pull the drawer, stick your money in there. They get it. You get your card. Give it back. Open the big drawer. Grab your order. It took them a week to put that together. Did it look a little yeah, it did, but it worked. They adapted quickly. Like somebody else mentioned, you had people that were in corporate America, now they have their small business. When this hit, they've got DoorDash, they've got it all. They're blasting it out on Facebook. They said, forget the indoor dining. They adapted, they pivoted quickly so they can make sure they can keep in touch with their clients.
Right.
Big sign in front of the door. We are open for takeout. Give us a call. Now you've got the QR codes out there. If you do go to a restaurant, they don't even give you a menu anymore. Use your phone, scan that QR code. Things are adapting, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. That's what communities were built on. That's what this country was built on. That's the way to move forward. So again, there are the opportunities out there. We've had people who lost their jobs. I say, listen, maybe this is your shot right now. Get that little bit of education. Don't go into it alone. There are resources out there for you, but you have to ask. You have to ask and you do your research. It always bothers me. You've got the entire world in your hand. Ask Google. They'll talk back to you and they'll give you that information. It's a fantastic opportunity to create a different world that we live in, because even post-COVID, I don't ever think it's going to go back to the way that it really was. I just don't. So we need to make sure that we're able to adapt. And like you said, Steve, it's got to be sustainable. I talk to businesses all the time. Okay, we might get through this. What if it happens again? What if there's some other type of issue that happens nationally or statewide that we're going to need to adapt to? Are you ready? Are your ducks in a row? Your business plan, it's a living, breathing document. You've got to be ready to shift. What else do you do? I know people that were, we had printing companies. They went out there and they said, you know what? Well, I can't really do this anymore. I'm having issues with paper. You know what? Let me go buy some 3D papers and start making face masks and give them away to the community. Now I can show that I can do this. I've had other companies that went from making widgets to making other items. You know, we're going to adapt, we're going to retool, we're going to refit so we can keep doing what we do, which is an entrepreneur, to be able to still provide for our families. Malcolm, you have anything else to add to that?
I like what Dr. Steven said. He said, we need to create an ecosystem that is effective for our community. I think, once again, that's something that, as all of us know, part of Chambers, that's what we try to put out, that we stick with, within our community, support our small businesses. It's very important that during this pandemic, we were supporting our local pizzeria that's been there for 20, 30 years. We were supporting our local deli that's been there for 30, 40 years. Because those are the people that are obviously going to be really hard hit in a time like this, because they're a small business. I think that due to the current culture of everything that's going on, we need to continue to be very supportive. So like you said, reach out to your local chambers, because we're still trying to, promote small businesses. I know that for the Westbury Carle place, that's what we're trying to do. We actually have Restaurant Week coming up because we want to promote our restaurant to make sure that they're, getting the visibility that they need. We don't want to see anybody in our community go out of business. That's how we thrive as a community. So we need to continue to support each other through these times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Phil, anything else to add regarding the culture of entrepreneurship?
Yes, I'm a big advocate of business model generation. There's a concept called white space. Sometimes we have to move a little different. One of the things is that a business gets stuck in the same model. We need to look at our distribution channels. We need to look at our partners. We need to look at is there a way to deliver services differently? The businesses that innovate, you either innovate or die. So innovation is the hallmark of champions. So one of the things I think we need to really kind of like say, you know what? A lot of times your model is not working anyway. But what happened is we go do the same thing every day. We need to have our business on the blackboard. Maybe we need 3 models. If we adjust the models for a couple of months each month, maybe we'll hit gold. That's what business is about. Business to me is problem solving, right? A business is usually, it's a rent problem. That $2,500 a month is a problem, right? So we got to find a way to solve that problem. So I think that's the heart of what an entrepreneur is a champion. They find solutions, that they got the drive. And I call it business is the art of making something out of nothing. And that's what America is about, by making companies grow.
Absolutely, and I'll segue into our final topic, the climate of business. Listen, I've known, unfortunately, businesses who are not going to come back. They went under. I know businesses who downsized in order to run leaner and meaner. I know businesses that have expanded and taken opportunities, that have taken a look at the entire landscape and the environment around them and said, what can I do to adapt to this? Like you said, Phil, entrepreneurship and problem solving. I believe when you have your business plan, or when they ask you, what problem are you solving? What is your business going to do? What is it going to meet? And everybody started from the same place. Whether you had a lot of money and you bought into a company, you still need to get in there, pull your sleeves up and find out what's your mission, what's your goal, what's your vision, how are you going to get there? What tools do you need? I sit and I talk to people about a CRM package, client relationship management system. It's online. You can build it. There are free ones. If you talk to me today, where are you going to capture my contact information in case you need to get back in touch with me? Phil, I know you've been out there before. What do you see in the entrepreneurship climate?
Well, I see one of the things I see is going back to the fundamentals of business. Peter Drucker, the father of modern day management, many businesses went into businesses never asked, who is my customer? We need to know something about our customer. Why does he buy? What are they buying? You go into a store like Bed Bath & Beyond, you're buying the aroma, right? So we really, a business owner, like one of my mentors, you probably know him, Marvin Smith, used to say, selling is a way game. It happens in the mind of the consumer and not in your mind. Sometimes we have ideas that what we want to give to the consumer. I think a better strategy is doing a good analysis of what our customer wants so we can serve the customer.
And Steve, you guys look like you wanted to chime in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head. So, one of the things that, and we have modern tools to do this as well, right? And it doesn't replace any of the fundamental things that we need to do. But when it comes to your business model, there are tools like the business model canvas. There's tools like lean model canvas, lean product canvas. These are things that help you to connect your value proposition to your customer segment, to your revenue stream. And if you cannot draw a straight line to those, then you don't have a business model, right? And then along with that, the reason I love the canvas and I teach it, consistently for business owners, to keep revisiting it, create another one, do it, is because it connects the value proposition to your revenue stream, to your channels, and to the relationship that you're going to have with your customers. One of the most important, and that's good, right? So no, you know whether or not you could research and create money. But on the infrastructure side of the canvas, one of the most I think critical thing for business owners, it talks about key activities. And you have to list those key activities that you have to do in order to make that money. And a lot of times business owners don't know how to say no or don't know how to prioritize what they should be working on. That's the genius of it, right? And they should treat it as a living document. So these are modern online tools that work, that are proven, that I know for a fact that corporations are starting to use them with their product development, like City, Chase, folks that I've worked with, Wolters Kluwer, a lot of these places, right? These are good techniques to start adopting.
Gotcha, gotcha. And Malcolm, that also goes back into what you talked about with the chamber and also about capital. In your world, are these some of the things that you look at as far as talking to businesses regarding their finances, being productive, being able to generate revenue?
Yeah, I mean, when I go out and I network and or business customers coming to the bank, I try to find out through conversation where the business is looking to go. I don't just want to offer a loan to somebody that may not need a loan. I want to offer a line of credit to a line of credit to somebody that may not need it. I want to know where you are as a business. I try to use cues and clues throughout a conversation at a networking event or as somebody in the bank and try to understand where you're at in your business. Are you a startup business? Are you somebody who's been around for years? Even somebody who may have, doing very well, they may still be in need of capital just in case of a rainy day.
Right.
Nobody ever expected COVID to come. And I had got a lot of calls from a lot of my business clients thanking me just for the fact that I told them about getting a line of credit a year or two ago that now they're able to access and use.
Right.
So, you kind of want to get to know your business customers. You kind of want to get to know your clients. You kind of want to get to know your customers because that'll be a way to lead into, them either using your products and services and or purchasing your products as a business. So, use the conversation and let them lead the way and, try to further the relationship and or see where they're heading in regards to getting expanding their relationship with you.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, like I said, I came up as a salesperson, and certain things that the owners of the company made us do. Phil, I'm quite sure, Steve, you remember Goldmine.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
relationship management. If I went
Yeah.
out and saw 20 people, I had to put all 20 cards into the system. When am I going to fall? I mean, why am I doing this? I should be out there selling. Well, guess what? One day I needed to go back and there goes the information or pops up on my calendar. You said that you were going to call this guy in 3 months and give him that proposal because that's when he said his old contract's going to expire. Now it's a different climate, but we still need those same basic tools readily available for us. When you walk around and you have that whole stack of business cards, we used to sit there, take them out, and one by one, just so you start thinking, who did I talk to? Being able to touch the card, feel it, go, wait a second, I need to call that guy. There are systems and processes out there because that's what the big guys do. People look at Amazon. How did they get so big? They went from boxes and they were very specific. That little smile under there, it's not a smile. It's from A to Z. That's what we sell. When they started making money, they took all that extra money and reinvested it back into their systems and their processes. You need to do that as a small business also, because again, the entrepreneurship climate, the climate for business, it's always going to change. Did you ever think that you would spend $800, $900 for a phone? And if you did you think that everybody would have one? Everybody's got one. When cable came out, I'm not paying for TV. TV's free. Guess what? Now you've got it. Phil, you've seen the different changes that have come out. Is there anything in particular that stuck out in your mind regarding this climate that we're living in right now and where we came from?
Well, man, I think you hit it on the nail when you talked about that phone. When I first got excited about the phone, I said, this is a way that we can bring revenue into the business if I'm on the supermarket line. So I think we have the tool in our hand to, many of us work with our phones. We're not always at that desktop. We're sending that email out. We actually, some of us are downloading documents we need to view. So I think we have a lot of power in our hands. We can utilize time better because the digital tool is just awesome. You can actually literally send out 100 emails right from your phone. So I think we have the ability to, talk to customers sooner. and also bring in revenue sooner through working on with the digital assets that we have.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna just wrap it up, but I want to ask each one of you if you had to name one of the important things, not that they're the most important, but one important thing, and I'll start with you, Steve. What is the one most important thing that you would tell a new business or an entrepreneur, somebody in businesses that's looking to expand, grow, and just get back into it, to have that spirit? What would you tell them?
Yeah, it's that's a good question. In the climate that we're in, right? There's Don't be afraid to start business now. A lot of successful businesses starts in climates like these because there's a need. There's a
Right.
real need for products and services. So I would say for sure, don't be afraid to start your business. Use all of those resources that you have at hand. I love what you said, Lionel, about listen, ask. It's out there, right? Pick up your phone, call, and do it. And I would say just be persistent, right? Just be persistent. Stay, it'll work out if you put the time in and you put the effort in. Yeah, just be persistent.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's a skill, and it's tough. And I tell people who come into the office and talk to me about starting a business or trying to help their own business, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've sit there and I understand what the bills are. You've got your workers' compensation, your insurance, payroll taxes, your payroll, your employees, you're trying your product, your vendors. It's not easy. But again, if you can put those systems in place, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Malcolm, what do you think would be that one thing you would tell that entrepreneur, that business owner, that somebody that's looking to pivot and possibly get into something new?
I would definitely say network, network, network. You never know who you're going to run into. The one connection could take you a long way in business. Um, Continue to put yourself out there. If you're getting into business, I think it's always great to get a mentor, somebody who, you know, has done that business before, has been successful in it. And you could take some of the good things that he has in his business and apply it to yours. So, like I said, definitely put yourself out there, network. They come out to a chamber event. We're doing them virtually. Like I said, you'll never know who you meet.
You never know who you're going to meet. And Phil, of course, I had to save the best for last, my friend. I know you've been out there. What would be that one nugget you would give that new business owner, that entrepreneur, that person out there that's trying to make it happen and take care of their family and live that dream?
Well, I say the root word of capital is kaput. Business happens in the brain. And when capital cannot come unless you invest in what you know, that is the fundamental idea of business, is that you have to make the invested in yourself to know things that could drive that business.
Absolutely. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I got a couple of things, and it's going to be a review. Make sure you have that mentor. You got to have somebody you can trust, that you can sit down and have that real frank conversation with. Somebody that might say, "Hey, listen, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. Think about it. Go back out. Let me introduce you to somebody else that might be able to help you." That's important. That's important. Networking, those relationships, you got to have them. You can't do this by yourself. You might think you can, and you'll get, sometimes you might get really far. You're going to come to one point, you're going to have to reach out to somebody. It's better you have that good relationship with her than if you don't. And my last one, and I'm sorry, Malcolm, but I still say you have to know your banker, that person you're doing your finance with. When you walk in the door, they should know your name. I've gone to a different bank, one of my favorite bank managers. They keep moving around from branch to branch to branch. I will go out of my way and I will call that branch. Where is she? Where is she? And I'll call up and I say, can I stop down and take care of my stuff? Sure, no problem. I'll give them a heads up, because back in the days, if that banker didn't know it's by the book. That's it. And there's some legal aspects where they go, listen, no problem. I actually know that person. I opened their account way back when. We can get this done and we can get it taken care of. That's the world that we work in. That's the world that we live in. It's just so important. Again, join your Chamber of Commerce's, get a mentor, reach out to the Office of Minority Affairs, call the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, go to the Westbury Carle Place Chamber, call up Steve Lindo, ask him what he's doing for these young people. What kind of knowledge can you share with the community to try to help people take it to the next level? I just think it's so very, very, very important. I'm just going to go around again, guys. I want you to introduce yourselves again and tell people how to get in touch with you. Malcolm, I'll start off with you.
Yes, my name is Malcolm Sems, Assistant Store Manager of the TD Bank in Westbury on Brush Hollow Road, third Vice President of the Westbury Carle Chamber. I'll leave my contact information on the Facebook, so if you guys want, you can reach out to me. If you have any banking questions that you may have, if you're interested in some capital, you can reach out to me. I will also have the Westbury Carle Chamber email put on the Facebook as well. So if you guys are interested in a networking event, reach out. I will send you some flyers so you guys can network with some people in the community.
Beautiful, beautiful. Steve?
Yes, again, thank you again. I am Dr. Stephen C. Lindo. I'm the co-founder of Springboard Incubators, and you can contact me at steven@springboardincubators.org. We run Level Up Entrepreneurship courses here that are 6 sessions, and they're free. So come take advantage of it, find out when the next session is, and then sign up, and then you're in. That's all it takes. We love supporting small businesses. We love to see startups go, and we're here to support you guys.
Did you say free?
Free, Free.
Free, free?
Free. Citizens don't pay.
Beautiful, beautiful. Bill Andrews.
I'm Phil Andrews, President of Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, New York State's largest African American chamber and small business champion. You can reach us at www.liaacc.org or simply put in largest African American chamber in New York State or info@liaacc.org.
No problem. And really quick, Dexter, please introduce yourself, the man behind the scenes, the man that makes it happen.
Good evening, Dexter Hedgepeth, Office of Minority Affairs. Thank everybody for joining us. It has been a tremendous opportunity and experience to hear from all our professionals, and we look forward to you joining us every Thursday right here on Facebook Live, Office of Minority Affairs, 6 p.m. sharp.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, myself, Lionel, Chitty, Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs Executive Director. Again, I thank every one of our panelists for joining us today. Dexter, thank you for your technical assistance in putting this together and getting that word out. Again, we are here to help. Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs Administration is here to offer you resources. Give us a call, 516-572-2243, or just Google Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs, or just ask your phone, it'll pop up. We're not hard to find. Again, we're here. There are resources out there. There's free stuff, Steve Lindo. There's the Chambers of Commerce. We're here as that resource. Reach out to us. Don't make us come find you, but reach out to us. We are here to assist. We are here to help you get off your feet and get the resources you need. Again, everybody, thank you so very much. Everybody, Happy New Year and have a great evening. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Oh, my last plug, next Thursday, January 14th. We're having at 6 o'clock our tools for finding employment. We're going to be talking about skills, resume, and the digital platforms out there in this new world of ours for those that might be looking for new employment opportunities. Again, everybody, thank you so very much for your time. Have a great evening.
Great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Lionel. Very well done.
Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you guys.
All righty. Phil, talk to you soon, man.
Okay, take care.
Take care, Phil. Malcolm, congratulations again.
All right. Bye-bye, Malcolm. Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care,
Thank you very much for your time.